And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way.
Anthony Tony the Gawk Augello was born in 1923 in the Williamsburg section of Brooklyn. By the mid-1960s, Augello had moved to 294 Hendrickson Avenue in Valley Stream, Long Island. He was a long-time Colombo soldier serving under Capo regime John Sonny Franzese. Augello was a character straight from Central Casting, a huge fellow, approximately 6 feet 2 inches tall, who had hands like baseball mitts. He was an intimidating figure, utilized for strong-arm work as needed, and he maintained a mob social club in Brooklyn as his base. Tony the Gawk was active in shylocking, extortion, bookmaking, strong-arm tactics, hijacking, and labor racketeering. For a time, Augello headed a mob-controlled union, Local Number 88 Amalgamated Production Workers Union Independent, serving as the president. It was a Franzese-controlled union. With Joe Colombo's rise to power in the family, Augello became close to him. During the years that the Italian-American Civil Rights League was active, Colombo made Augello a precinct captain, and he was once arrested while picketing the Staten Island Advance newspaper. During the 1960s, Nassau District Attorney William Kahn hounded mobsters in the county, starting several grand juries and arresting mobsters for the smallest infractions. Augello was constantly hounded by detectives, and by 1965, he was arrested with several others on several truck hijackings of clothes and other merchandise. The case dragged on for years. Eventually, Augello was convicted on the testimony of Angelo Fat Angelo Garofalo, one of Augello's co-defendants and witnesses who turned rat. Also during the era, Augello found himself with an extortion case born out of a shakedown he was so adept at. He and an associate named Julius Spike Bernstein, a hoodlum who, in later years, would ally with Matty the Horse Ainello in pilfering a bus union local they infiltrated, approached the owner of the Big Bow Wow, a hot dog fast food place in Howard Beach, Queens. Soon, they were strong-arming the owner for money every week. The FBI was called in, and Augello and Bernstein were charged with extortion. Over the years, he amassed an arrest record for grand larceny, extortion, receiving stolen property, the hijack load, assault, disorderly conduct, contempt of court, and narcotics conspiracy. He was convicted on grand larceny, receiving of stolen goods, conspiracy, extortion, and contempt. By the late 1970s, Augello got himself involved with a former prison buddy in a drug scheme. New York City mob members were not officially allowed to participate in narcotics, and Colombo members in particular shunned such activity. But when you have the boss's ear, it's different. Before long, the DEA arrested everyone involved on conspiracy charges, Augello included. That was a big problem. But a bigger problem was the fact that Augello had pulled Alphonse Little Alley Boy Persico in on the conspiracy, with Persico getting indicted as well. You do not get the boss's son arrested for such things, not if you want to live a long life. And this was Carmine Jr. Persico's son, considered one of the most cunning and vicious mob bosses of all time. Augello knew how this would end, and it was not going to be a happy ending. Day after day, week after week, constantly looking over his shoulder, afraid to make meetings with his associates for fear of being set up for the slaughter, and soon he couldn't take the pressure anymore. Augello left his home early one morning and stopped off at the local Burger King for a cup of coffee. He walked into the phone booth on the property and proceeded to make several calls to his family members to say goodbye. Tony then promptly pulled out a .357 Magnum and shot himself in the head. A quick and decisive ending to a lingering problem. Augello had filled his own murder contract. And so ends the saga of Anthony Tony the Gawk Augello. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Mob Fireside Chat, presented by Button Guys of the New York Mafia. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next installment. You can also visit us at thenewyorkmafia.com, where you can read many more true tales of the underworld and join us for conversation on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time.
Yes, it was my